You're listening to the True Crime Nation podcast with Todd and Brian. If you're enjoying the show, email us at truecrimenation@outlook.com. Let's start the show. I'm Brian, and over there is Todd. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. Tonight's episode is interesting to me and you, as you know. We're going to talk about something that happened in the Pacific Northwest.
Yes, a place near and dear to our hearts.
We've been there a couple times, and we've actually been in this town several times, actually.
Several times, yep.
We go there from time to time for work, actually. Takes us out there. So it's kind of, we knew about this crime, murder we're going to talk about tonight before it ever came out. It is on Dateline. I believe it's called Someone Was Out There. We can talk about that more during the show. But there's a town, I guess we can call it, we'll just name it out there. It's public notice, Pendleton, Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, it's out there. It's not like we have to hide anything.
Right.
It's public record.
And so we know people in Pendleton, obviously, coworkers, etc., that,
Right.
were there kind of firsthand when this happened. But anyway, Brian, the Pacific Northwest, it's beautiful country. We love being out there.
Gorgeous. Yep, God's country.
But I think you'll admit too, just like I will, it's strange out there, is it not? Strange things happen out there.
There are some crazies in the Pacific Northwest.
There are definitely crazies out there.
Yes, there's some weird shit that's happened out there over the years.
Just like tonight's story.
And obviously still happening. Yeah.
We've actually got a couple stories that we want to talk about from the Pacific Northwest in this general area.
I feel like this show is going to be pretty centered around that area because there's a lot of shit going on out there.
There is. We could do a show just on Pacific Northwest crime.
We could. Yeah, we could.
If we wanted to. But, we'll try to jump around anyway.
I mean, we won't. We'll mix it up a little bit because there's other crazies all around the country. But
yeah, I mean,
that area seems to breed serial killers.
It does. There's a weirdness about it, and I just don't get it. But people talk about it.
I don't either. I think it's because it's the vast wilderness. I think it's just easy to hide the body. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That probably goes on a lot more than people think out there.
Yeah, probably a lot more. That's scary.
Yeah. So, Pendleton, Oregon, little quiet town with a little bit of industry.
Yeah, it reminds me of Goshen.
It kind of does.
Downtown Goshen in a way.
It does.
It's a little bit bigger, but it's still, it's got that old-timey feel.
Right. Who are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about a guy named Lukah Chang. His full name is Lukah Chang. Also went by the alias Danny Wu. Or as you like to call him, what did you call him?
Chung Lee.
We were talking about doing this show the other day, and Ron's like, yeah, we'll do the Chung Lee show. Yeah, his name might as well be Chung Lee.
I couldn't remember his name.
It says here, in 2013 of August, and I remember this happening. I remember being told about it and how weird it was, and I was shown, we've seen these places, these things have happened. We'll get into that, but let's tell them, the audience is waiting for what are we talking about here? This Lukah Chang guy was arrested for murdering one young woman and attempting to murder another. He grew up in North Carolina, and his father was the pastor of a Baptist church. He was homeschooled and attended a private Christian school his senior year, from which he was expelled. In 2006, his family moved to Thailand for a year as Christian missionaries to set up a church in a refugee camp. After being expelled from private school his senior year, he joined the military. He served in the Marines and the Marine Corps base camp in Pendleton, California, but deserted his post as of July 9th, 2012, and then moved from his home in Oceanside, California, turning up in Oregon.
How do you get from Oceanside, California to Oregon?
Hitchhike, probably.
Why?
It's weird that he was in Pendleton, California, and then he ended up in Pendleton, Oregon.
Yeah, no kidding.
Do you think that's a coincidence or?
Maybe.
And one thing about Pendleton, Oregon, it's Eastern Oregon. It is actually west of the Blue Mountains. However, it kind of sets out in the middle of nowhere.
It's kind of deserty. It's
Yeah.
not really forested like the rest of Oregon, like people think Oregon is. I was surprised the first time I went out there how desert it is. I mean, it's still beautiful, but
It's like rolling plains of just,
right.
no.
Yeah.
But then, Pendleton kind of sits down in a valley,
Yep.
surrounding a river,
Yep.
just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, really.
Yeah.
So to get there, you're not going to walk there. You could walk there, but
It'd be a
from
long
where?
walk because that's
From wherever
about
you're
100
coming
miles from everywhere.
Yeah. So this guy ends up there, was in the Marines, and then ended up there. So in August 2014, 2012, Lukah stabbed a 19-year-old motel maid, Amy Jane Branhagen, to death. Almost a year later, on August 9th, 2013, he attempted to beat another woman, 53-year-old Karen Lang, to death with a metal pipe. Karen was jogging on a public jogging path. So I'm going to put that down and we'll talk a little bit here. So this guy, he ends up, I guess, going AWOL from the Marines. He's a little weird. He is an Asian-looking gentleman. And I don't know if he was adopted or what the case was, or, if he's from Thailand originally, but here he is. He leaves the Marines, and the story goes is he ends up in Pendleton. I guess breaking this down from the start is the owner of the hotel, the motel, it was a travel lodge in Pendleton. We've been by it 20 times, have we not, Brian?
Yeah.
I guess I had thought he had a room there, but apparently he did not have a room there. He was just walking by.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess what it said.
So he's just walking by this.
How do you just walk by a motel and say, I'm going to kill this chick?
And he sees the girl in there cleaning the room after the guests had left. Walks in the room. I guess she was in the bathroom, cleaning the bathroom, and he just walked in on the bathroom and killed her.
That's crazy.
So I guess the motel manager finds her, or the owner finds her, eventually, and calls 911. So there you go. Now, before I forget to say this, had this guy, this crazy ass dude, Lukah Chang, left Pendleton that day, he would have never probably been caught.
Yeah.
And he would have stayed clean.
Yeah, he would have gotten away with it. Mm-hmm.
And stayed clean and had no DNA, investigation on him.
Yep.
He would have got away with this because no one had a clue. No one saw anything. Nothing was left as a trace in the room. They had nothing to go on. They had no idea who did this.
Yeah, he could have walked away and gotten away with murder.
So I remember being told about this. I remember our friends out there saying, hey, guess what happened in Pendleton this weekend, whatever, Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, last time I was out there, they were telling me about that one. Wild.
So I'm like, wow, So, you talk about it and it's like, oh, I never found that guy, never found who did it, no idea. I'm like, that's just weird to me, and you're thinking like just a drifter coming through, something like that, which he was. Yeah. Technically.
He was, yeah.
So this crazy ass dude, Lukah Chang, stays in Pendleton for a year after he kills this girl.
But I mean, plus technically he was on the run because he went AWOL from the military and they frown on that.
Yeah, he was.
Oh.
But for a whole year he's in. Now the town of Pendleton is, I think their population is about 18,000, something like that, maybe 15,000.
Yeah, if that, it's small.
And they have a rodeo there every year, a big rodeo called the Roundup.
That's what it's famous for, yeah.
Yeah. They have a lot of famous people that play there. But so this guy, there's a convention center in this town. And so this guy, he's missing for a whole year. Or, a year goes by and there's nothing gets solved. They find this lady bludgeoned almost to death on a jogging path. So in the town of Pendleton, there's the river runs through the whole town. And on I'm going to guess it's the north side of the river. They have a path, a walking path. I've been on it before. Walked on. You can walk from one side of the town to the other if you want to.
Right.
Town size, it's fairly big. I mean, it's your average town, I would say.
It's your average small town, western town. Yeah.
There's a casino outside of town.
Not huge, but it's not small either, you know.
There's a casino with an Indian reservation outside of town. Which some crazy stuff just happened out there, I heard too.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, we got a lot of stories.
Story for another day.
Yeah. So they find this lady, Karen, laying bludgeoned, and she's unconscious, but she's alive. So they take her to the hospital, get her treated, whatever. So they decide to start looking at. They know there's cameras around the beginning of this path, and they see her go by on the camera, and then they see a dark-haired, shorter, maybe Asian-looking gentleman following her 30 seconds later. I would say 15, 20 minutes goes by, shows the Asian gentleman coming back, walking back through, and I believe he did have something in his hand when he walked into the camera the first time. Coming back through 15 or 20 minutes later.
Probably that pipe.
Yeah. And he's gone, and they just wait and wait and wait and wait, and this lady obviously never comes back through. And he's really the only dude what they think this time. So they're looking for a guy who's maybe 5'8", Asian descent, dark hair. They still don't know who this guy is. So, the whole town's in an uproar. They're like, okay, is this linked to the girl that was killed in the hotel room?
Right.
Cleaner. She was in there just cleaning a hotel room, just working, probably young, just maybe she had a kid, maybe she didn't.
Probably just young. Mm-hmm.
Trying to make a living, and this guy goes in and just kills her, man.
Yep.
I don't think there was
It does say they linked the DNA from the pipe to the hotel room because he did stab her to death in the hotel room. So obviously there were some cuts and stuff on him. She might have gotten a couple good scratches or something. And
yeah, you would think she'd have been screaming. Someone would have heard her. That's right near downtown. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it wasn't like it was midnight.
It says video surveillance from the jogging attack identified Lukah, the known as a homeless person who went by Danny Wu. So he went by a homeless person in Pendleton by the name of Danny Wu. Changed his identity, right. Went homeless to try to stay under the run of getting caught by leaving.
So that's how long he was there in Pendleton. They knew his name. Somebody knew his name to identify him. His alias, yeah.
Yeah. So what happens? There's these food service workers going into the convention center to it was after hours, something like that, to do something, start cooking, clean up, whatever. And they see old Lukah Danny Wu there sitting in a chair, I guess, with a Coke in his hand, just chilling out.
Yeah.
And they didn't know who he was. They just know this guy.
Out.
Who's this guy in here drinking a Coke in here, sitting in our lounge? And I guess he got up and they said he was oh shit, and he got up and he took off running, and they ran out because they didn't know what this guy was. Called the police, and they found this guy. He was actually hiding up in the ceiling, he moved some of the ceiling panels out of the way and was hiding up there in the ceiling somehow. He'd actually found a blanket or something like that, I guess, up there and everything else. So he'd been living in this convention center.
Yeah.
For a year.
In the attic.
Being a homeless person, surviving on something somehow. And who knows if he killed anybody.
After he already killed somebody.
Yeah. Again, had he left that day, they probably would have never caught him.
Yeah. Yeah. He just should have walked on.
But he would have had to hike somewhere. He would have made, I guess in a way he would probably thought, well, if I leave right now, they're going to be looking for somebody running down, and they see some guy, a guy just walking down the highway, and
True.
They're going to stop me and say, hey, but a year?
Yeah, but he could have made it at any point. He could have left.
Yeah, absolutely.
and still gotten away with it.
But I guess he got comfortable there. He was able to hide out there for as long as he could.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe he got cocky. I killed somebody.
Complacent.
They're
He got
looking for me.
complacent.
As they all do. As they all do.
Yeah.
So yeah, the guy comes into town. He's a drifter. He kills some girl in a hotel room. Then he bludgeons some lady almost to death, just for no reason.
Yeah, just because.
He didn't know these people. Didn't know these ladies. It says, during his trial, Lukah never explained why he murdered the first woman and attempted to murder the second woman. According to the police, he did not appear to suffer mental illness, alcohol, or drug problems.
That's what gets me. There's some mental issues going on there.
Oh, yeah. If you see a mugshot of this guy, he looks like he's just... Yeah.
It's just... I mean, you can't...
I wouldn't leave him around my family alone.
Just because he can speak coherently when you talk to him doesn't mean he's not a psychopath.
Anybody who does that
You know what
shit
I mean?
is a psychopath, obviously. Something wrong with them, one way or the other.
Yeah, something very wrong with
Doesn't
him.
mean that they're insane, but it means that they're crazy. You know, it says he regularly warned people to stay away from him. He pleaded guilty to both murder and attempted murder and was sentenced to prison for 35 years to life. He will be 58 before he can ask the Oregon Parole Board for a reassessment. That's what gets me right there. Why would you even give him a chance for parole? I mean, that he so I guess he told them that, yeah, I said, they asked him why did he kill this girl? And he told them he wanted to know how it felt to kill someone.
To see how it felt, he said.
And then after he committed the murder, he felt sadness because he realized that the life was precious. Here are Chang's exact words according to the report by NBC. See how it felt. See how what felt? Taking a life. Why? I was curious. How did it feel? Empowering, saddening. Empowering and saddening at the same time? Yes, empowering because I took a life, saddening because I realized at the same time life is precious. So, it says he was curious. I mean...
Should have stayed in the military.
Yeah. Yeah, stay in the military.
Kill a lot of people.
Kill as many people as you wanted to or somewhere. So the guy's obviously a nut job.
Yeah.
This was on Dateline NBC, episode entitled "Someone Was Out There." So if you guys want to search it or look it up on YouTube or whatever, that's what you want to search. Dateline, "Someone Was Out There," aired in 2014. But like I said, this kind of hits home with us a little bit because we've been to this town. We know where these places are. We don't know these people personally, but some people that we know the husband and the lady who was...
I mean, we know people who've lived there their whole lives, grew up there. So, they probably knew him.
So it says, police arrest Lukah Chang after he was captured at the Pendleton Convention Center late August. So somehow they tied... Did you say it was DNA, how they tied him to the gal in
the DNA from the hotel room was matched for the pipe that he beat her with.
Okay. That's crazy. 23 years old, man.
DNA always gets you.
There is a prison in Pendleton. That's one thing we didn't talk about. There is a state prison.
There is. And it's a maximum security prison, too.
It's right close to where we go to work out there. And, I mean, there's barbed wire fence and everything. It's the real deal.
Yeah, it's a maximum security for Eastern Oregon. It's big. It's a serious prison.
I don't know if that's where he is, though. I think they sent him somewhere else.
Oh, I'm sure.
For a little bit, he was probably there, but I think they sent him maybe to Eugene or something like that. Sentenced Chang to life in prison with a minimum of 25 years and added 10 more years for attempted murder charge. I mean, you just give the guy life, or I don't think Oregon has the death penalty.
No, I don't think so either.
But definitely, he should have gotten way more than that, in my opinion. The guy's just nuts.
He should have gotten life, period. There should have been no 35 or 25 or whatever to life. It should have been life, period. No chance for parole.
He told investigators he was a Marine Corps meteorologist and had gotten on a bus at Camp Pendleton in California and never gone back. A Marine Corps spokesman confirmed a man by his name was wanted as a deserter. Chang got on a bus, ran out of money in Pendleton, and stayed a year. Unfortunately, this is where the community where he landed.
You know, I could have been anywhere, I guess. I mean, you know how many little towns are between Portland and Pendleton?
Yeah, between California and yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, a lot of crazy stuff goes on. We just heard about a shooting at the casino out there in Pendleton.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman
a failed robbery, wasn't it?
Yeah, guy tried to rob a casino.
Crazy.
Police shot him and shot a bystander, I guess, but no one died. Then the guy had left and drove up.
Collateral damage.
Drove up, right. Some guy left the casino drunk, drove up the mountainside and turned around in the same lane coming back down, trying to hit cars on the way down the mountain.
Jesus Christ.
Finally did hit and kill some lady, and he told the police he was just trying to kill himself. Well, doesn't drive off the side of the mountain.
Yeah, drive off the mountain. Don't fucking take people with you.
I mean, right there, like I said, Pendleton kind of sits, just to the west of the Blue Mountains, and so you can drive up into the Blue Mountains pretty quick from Pendleton.
Yeah, there's a lot of cliffs they can drive off of.
It gets windy and tall up there.
Yeah, it does.
There's a lot of semi pull off ramps that they have because a lot of semis coming down.
Is terrifying to see if you've never seen one of those.
It's twisty, turny, and it can get fast on you. But yeah, it's just crazy what goes on out there. The police department, I guess there's a lot of shootings that do go on in Pendleton, and there's actually one cop that has actually shot 3 people in his career.
See, that just blows my mind because that is not a big town. It's not a big city. It's a small town, western town. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, there's cops in South Bend that have never shot anybody.
Yeah.
And South Bend's big compared to Pendleton.
South Bend's terrible crime rate as far as that goes. But when you get them out there, you get the good ones. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that meth is bad out there.
So,
well, and plus Oregon, the state of Oregon, just decriminalized every drug under the sun.
Maybe they think it's going to chill out the bad people.
It's not.
I just can't believe that they let this. I can't believe that. I mean, you would think that if there's a murder that goes on like that, you would probably, how do you look at the homeless as being dangerous?
They can be,
they
sure.
Can be, right? I mean, you would.
Most of them are mentally ill. Most of them have mental illness. Even here in South Bend, it scared the hell out of me.
You think a cop would maybe pull up on some guys and be like, "Hey, let me just talk to you for a minute, make sure they didn't have blood on their hands," something like that.
Yeah.
Or how you think he lived in that convention center the whole year?
Yeah, I think he did. Where else is he going to go?
Or maybe in the wintertime anyway?
Well, in the wintertime anyway, yeah. Summertime's pretty nice there. I probably would have been outside by the river or something.
I mean, you don't see a lot of homeless people there in Pendleton, but you do see drifters coming through.
No, but I've seen some homeless there.
It's probably bigger than
I saw the one guy that's standing on the corner by Walmart screaming at people as they drove by.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
He was funny.
So, yeah, I mean, this guy I guarantee you had, obviously he would have killed again. I mean, look, he tried to.
Oh, yeah, he would have. Absolutely would have. If they hadn't caught him, he sure should have. He would have.
I wonder if he had a problem with women in general, or that just happened to be who he came up on.
I don't know.
He could have killed other homeless people for all we know.
I think, I mean, I'm not a serial killer or, I don't want to kill anybody, but women are easy targets. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, especially for a trained.
Well, we've talked about that before.
Especially for a trained soldier. I mean.
Yeah. We've talked about that before. I mean, men are stronger than women, and men can overpower women unless they're able to take care of themselves.
Now, don't email us and tell us we're fucking male chauvinists or anything like that. It's a fact. We're talking about physical strength, and it's a fact that men are stronger than women.
Right. Yeah, we don't mean it in that way. We just mean it in a realistic way that, women are easier to kidnap than a man.
They're an easy target.
Maybe some not. There's probably some dudes out there that you could kidnap pretty easily and not think twice about it. But
Yeah. If I
some
can
we
work with a
think
few of
about
those
we
too.
want to.
Maybe not kidnap them, but
So yeah, I mean, going out there and you see that hotel, like I said, if you guys watch the Dateline
Yeah.
show, you'll see they're talking about that, and it's just
Yeah,
so
you'll see it all.
crazy. It happened damn near in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
Unless he shut the door behind him, which maybe he did. I'm guessing he did.
I'm sure he did when he went in.
But what drives a person to do something like that? You're
I
just
don't know.
walking down. That couldn't have been. I think the thing that maybe saved his ass was it wasn't premeditated necessarily.
Yes and no.
You could probably prove it wasn't because you're like, I was just walking down the street. I was going down to get underneath the bridge with my buddies and get high and saw her in there and thought I'd go and
stop
just
and
kill
this
her,
girl.
see what happened.
Yeah, true.
I don't
I
think there
guess
was
they
any,
could have.
I don't think there was any rape on either one of these. Any rape?
No.
Evidence.
Doesn't say
on
anything
either of
about
these
it.
thing. He just I'm just gonna kill these random people.
Crazy.
So I mean, like we said
What is
before,
that?
you gotta
We
watch
need
you gotta watch who you talk to out there.
We need to get a psychologist or something on this program and ask them what their thought is on mindset of killers like that. What makes a person snap like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess, did I say that right?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I just can't see that a person can't flip a switch and be like, that's just going too far. You know what I'm saying?
I know. That's what I'm saying. Where's the disconnect in their brain that makes that okay?
I mean, this guy probably, I'm going to guess this guy probably maybe killed somebody before this, or he probably tortured animals, I'm guessing.
Maybe. We didn't get too much background on him, did we?
No, maybe he had a
They
thing
didn't
with
really have a
women.
whole lot of background.
Maybe there's something he had against women,
Maybe. I mean, it didn't sound like his family life was that bad, but
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. I think the guy some people, like you said, there's just a disconnect there.
There's just something in their brain that's not.
And maybe he was
not firing on all cylinders or something. I don't know.
Maybe he was nurtured all of his life and his parents knew that he just wasn't right and just let him get through life the best they could and sipped him off or encouraged him to get off to the military.
Yeah, which is not unheard of. Figured, we'll give him to the military, let them take care of him.
Well, we talk about that. If people know somebody, they're tending to be someone who might murder people need to speak up. Like these homeless people that knew this guy, that hung out with this guy. I'm sure he hung out with a group of homeless people there. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was a rogue. But if he did, they had to know there's something not right about him.
Well, I mean, they knew his alias, so obviously somebody knew him. Somebody talked to him.
Yeah. But, for them to go to the police and say something, why would they care as long as it's not them,
Right, exactly. Unless, it's like you see on TV where they're walking around, hey, have you seen this guy? You know this guy? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
So, be interesting to see what happens with this guy's parole. Not that I'm going to give two shits when that comes up, or maybe I'm not going to be around. But, he's probably like 30 by now, I'm guessing, around that age. So
he's got a long way to go.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go. This crazy stuff that goes on out there. We'll do some more stories and some other ones. We've got a really good one coming up there that was on also another television program. Very disturbing. We'll just leave it at that. Very disturbing what happened to this one.
Mm-hmm. Dun-dun.
So if you guys are liking the show and want to submit a story or want to hear an episode on someone.
Yeah, give us a suggestion on some crimes or something you want to hear. Let us know.
Email us at
truecrimenation@outlook.com.
Right on. And we'll keep putting some episodes out here weekly for you guys, dropping them every Tuesday, and hopefully you enjoy them, and we appreciate the listens.
Also, we're on Instagram now. True_Crime Nation.
I would check that out. I failed today. I was supposed to do a Facebook page, and I have not gotten to that, but that's coming soon as well.
So that's coming too.
Probably
so
by the
stay
time
tuned
this
for that.
episode gets out, we'll have done all the stuff we've talked about.
We also have a YouTube channel. So look for that too, True Crime Nation.
True Crime Nation.
So we're getting there. Just bear with us.
Yep.
We're getting there.
Yep. With that, we'll get out of here, and good hanging out with you, man.
Always fun. Always fun learning about crazy people.
I know. And listeners, we appreciate you being here and listening to us as well. And remember,
monsters are real.